Now, what you've all been waiting for, I'm going to sing. No. Jeandron and Andrew Kotyuk are running to repeal and replace Chad Mays. And of course, I will give credit for that. The campaign slogan goes to Andrew Kotyuk, or his campaign manager, for repealing and replacing Chad Mays, but we picked it up. Chad Mays, as you may know, led the Republicans to provide the necessary votes to pass the Democrats' cap-and-trade tax last summer. And there is Chad Mays in the center, with some of his friends. Cap-and-trade will increase gas prices by at least 73 cents a gallon, increase all other energy prices, and because the Republicans voted for it, it let potentially vulnerable Democrats vote no or abstain from the vote, so they're also politically stupid. They protected Democrats by what they did. Even our own Mark Steinnorth, yes, right, voted for it after he ran ads against his opponent in the last election for supporting cap and trade, in which he said, on the economy, Medina supports a cap and trade plan that will increase gasoline prices, destroy thousands of jobs, hurt working families and the poor. A reckless politician, say no to Abigail Medina. And of course, that was then, this is now, and he voted for it, and we will not support him again. But Chad Mays is not done, of course. He's now working with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they're forming a group called New Way California, which translates as Dim Way California. So they're going to further try to pull the Republican Party to the left. So for all of these reasons, this is why it's really, really, really important that somebody beat Chad Mays. Because if Chad Mays gets through, they will have learned a lesson in Sacramento that they can get away with it. They can vote for a whopping gas tax increase, an energy tax increase, and even in a conservative district, in fact, Assembly District 42, they can get away with it. So we are pleased to have two candidates, Andrew Kotyuk and Jeandron. Do you guys want to come up? The way we're going to work this is, we'll have one microphone you'll share between you. Yeah, I wish I knew, where's Adrian when we need him? Carol, where's the microphone?
I just want to make sure that we have all of the ballots in the little boxes. So we're going to bring the boxes around again for your white tickets. If you have not voted for these candidates, we'd like to give you the opportunity to do it. And then, when we're done, I will be bringing around blue tickets, and that's going to be the straw poll after you've heard the message from each of the candidates.
Okay, the way it's going to work tonight is each candidate will have 3 minutes for their opening, and then we're going to ask questions. I will ask questions, John will ask some questions, and we'll have audience questions, but again, we ask that you write out your question. We're not going to pre-screen them. We ask that you write out your question before you come up to the microphone so you can be more brief and succinct and we can get more questions in. So with this, Chuck Brumman has kindly agreed to serve as our timekeeper down there in front, so when Chuck stands up and waves the sign, that's when it's time to stop talking. And using my discretion and awesome power as the moderator here, we will start with opening statement from Andrew Kotyuk.
Thank you all, thank you all. Before I get started, I'd like to have the UCR Young Republicans stand up. Can we stand up really quickly, gentlemen? Please welcome, these are our millennials, our future Young Republicans here. Short from UCR, working the campaign trail. So you heard why we're all here. We know about the repeal and replace. And when I say Chad Mays, I want to hear you all say repeal and replace. Chad Mays. Repeal and replace. That's right, absolutely. And the great thing is right now we have the momentum, right? Trump won in the election last year. We have Travis Allen running right now. We have young millennials running. Right now is the time to make a move and take back the 42nd. So He's absolutely right. We have to win. We have to beat Chad Mays, and he's the head. He's the caucus leader. He's the Republican leader that took us down the drain in California and sold us out to Brown and into the crazy train, right? That's right. So right now we're at a pivotal moment right now. We have to beat Chad in the primary election because it's 60-40 to Republican and Democrat. If Chad, myself, and Gary are in the race, Gary and I will split the anti-Chad vote. Chad will get through, the one Republican running will get through, and guess what? Chad won and we lost. So right now we have a slew of endorsements. I've received the UCR Young Republican endorsements, Senator Hollingsworth, Senator Anderson, Assemblyman Vopel, past Assemblyman Jeffries, and a whole host of city council members. Both central committees, San Bernardino, Riverside County, I received the majority of the support from you activists. I appreciate you being there and fighting, but because of bylaws and Chad's placement, we couldn't get over the 2/3 threshold, allowing Chad a pass, possibly setting him up for the endorsement. No, that's right, that's right. Right now, this meeting is so pivotal with one candidate to move forward against Chad Mays. Now, I've challenged my competitor here over money, over time frame, about one candidate as a gentleman's agreement to move forward because we need one candidate against Chad Mays in support. So with this and this poll vote, how about it, Gary? How about we do, whoever wins this, we move forward. One Republican against Chad Mays. What are we going to do with Chad Mays? Repeal those plays, that's right. Let's do this.
Yes, I'm Gary Jeandron, the retired police chief out of Palm Springs, 34 years in law enforcement. I was 10 years on the school board, and currently I'm a part-time therapist. I'm a licensed marriage family therapist, and the irony of this is that I spent most of my adult life putting drug addicts in jail, and now what I do is try to get those who want help to keep them out of jail. Let me just tell you that we have got a lot of information on Chad. We know why Chad is not good for the party. I'm giving you some ideas of what I want to do. And what I'm going to propose is that we will have this revolution. We are going to have the Republican revolution, and we are going to get a Republican governor. Isn't that right? With that, I will be proposing tax cuts. I will be proposing that we give local control back to the counties, the cities, the school boards, that the money that goes to Sacramento, we move that back down to local control. I'm also proposing that I have ideas of what to do about crime. Who better than me to understand what goes on with crime than a former police chief? And on the Second Amendment, I stand strong on the Second Amendment. I believe that when we hang around the necks of the progressive liberals, the sanctuary state, which endangers law enforcement and endangers all of us, when we hang around the necks of the progressives and Chad, the excessive prices of tax and gasoline, that we are going to make a difference this year. You and I are going to take the 42nd Assembly District, and we are going to win this together. Now, I keep hearing about these challenges. I did a poll early on, and it showed that when we get our information out to the Republicans, Chad loses 85% of the Republicans. I believe that there's plenty of votes out there. I am going to stay in the race. I'm not playing games with him. I am on my own lane. I am going to win this. I'm staying on track. I have a plan. I'm winning. Thank you.
All right, first question for Mr. Jeandron. Okay. As an assemblyman, it is likely that you may be working with a Democrat supermajority in Sacramento. Despite that obstacle, how will you get legislation passed?
Because we're going to have a Republican governor. That's what's going to happen. We are going to get somebody like Travis Allen. Travis Allen is on fire. We are going to get around the swamp people by going directly to the voters. The governor can do that. He can put legislation forward He can put it on the ballot, because it was talking about some guys back here. Why can't we just vote on this? We can with a Republican governor. That's how we get around it. And I firmly believe that we are going to take this. I feel it. I know we're going to do it.
Yeah, same question. How will you work with how will you get legislation passed despite a Democrat supermajority?
No, and this is a great question, because in 2014, I was asked by Assemblyman Standy to succeed him in the Assembly, and I told him no, because I felt nothing could get done in Sacramento in 2014. Right now, in 2018, we're in a whole different world right now. You saw it with Trump, you saw it with Travis Allen, you see it with the young Republicans right now. My pulse out there with the trade unions, they're all broken right now. If you look at the highways, the dams, the public pensions, you look at healthcare, you look at the prison systems, you look at public safety, they're all broken. They've all been pulled and reduced, and that money's been given to the crazy train and illegal aliens. Right now, the pendulum is swinging too far to the left. In addition to that, we have the Supreme Court right now withdrawing the union membership dues requirement. Do you understand how important that is, that our president is giving us a gift in California and breaking the unions, causing the fractures in the foundation right now? In addition, the supermajority has been broken with the Assembly, right? All the sexual misconduct that's occurred, it's broken right now. I believe we're in a window of opportunity where people are waking up and realizing how broken California is. The wind is at our back. Think about it, whether it's the homeless, the poverty that we're seeing, and I named all those departments that are broken, but yet we're the number one revenue in the nation. Number one manufacturing, number one exports, imports to the ports of Long Beach and LA. You look at Napa Valley, Silicon Valley, Central Valley, Hollywood, biotech, number 3 international tourism. You see it at Disneyland, you see it at the outlets here, and we're taxed so much. Everybody, this is a common message. People realize it's broken and it's not a revenue problem. This is our opportunity to seize. Everybody's waking up. And for the record, on the Second Amendment, I don't know how many CCWs he issued as a police officer, and actually I do. It's near zero his whole tenure. So you can say Second Amendment, but near zero as a police chief is pretty pathetic.
That is an out-and-out lie. That is an out-and-out lie. You want to talk about Second Amendment? What did you do in 2012 when you signed onto that gun letter? Now, he has a gun letter out with his name on it, and he is going to tell you, oh, because I couldn't get my name off of it. Show me any evidence that you try to get your name off of it. Show me anything now, because now it makes a big deal to you. So now you're going, oh, I tried to do all that. 2012, he signed a gun letter for gun control. His name is on it.
As a veteran.
You may have a response, and then we'll move on.
Yeah. Navy veteran, lifetime NRA, my daughter shoots an AR, my wife has a 38 special, and in the city of San Jacinto, we're pushing forward to accelerate our CCWs in our city. So show me a signature. This is different BS. Thank you.
I have a question. You'll be up first. Why are you the best candidate to beat Chad Mays as opposed to your opponent?
Absolutely. So, for instance here, I'm 3 times elected council member in San Jacinto. City of San Jacinto brought back after 4 indebted council members, recall election, almost bankruptcy. I brought back a balance, cut it. That success movie to Riverside Transit Agency, where I shaved off millions on a fuel program, balanced their budget. That success pushed me up to Metrolinx to the California Regional Rail Authority to go fight the Democratic LA supervisors on the fueling. Success there too. I passed pension reform in the city. I know water, I know education. Oh, by the way, school board men or charter school moved graduation rates to 100%. My track record as a small businessman, veteran, and family man is very successful. Oh, and by the way, I'm not a partner of the Clinton Foundation like this competitor right here.
What is wrong with you? say that again.
Oh, I'll text it, maybe Greg.
A partner with the Clinton Foundation. That is out and out ridiculous. Let's talk about your taxes. Let's talk about your inconsistency. Let me tell you, I am going to be consistent. When I tell you something, it's the truth. He has said that he did not publicly support taxes in San Jacinto. He did. He wrote the rebuttal to the argument that was made on the taxes. He has consistently said things such as he supports marijuana, the regulation of marijuana. When he finds out it doesn't work, he then changes his point of view and goes, oh no, I don't particularly like marijuana, but we do need to regulate it. My position on marijuana is it's bad. The city should say no. Let's don't do this. Let's avoid it. Don't zone it. Don't tax it. It's bad for people. We've taken now a legal problem and made it a medical problem. So that's the kind. I will be consistent to you. I will firmly stand. Why believe me? Well, 34 years, I made a commitment to the city of Palm Springs. I stood on that commitment. I put myself in harm's way with my brothers and sisters in law enforcement for that community. I never violated people's rights, and I upheld the suspects' rights. I did that for 34 years. That's why I'm the best candidate.
I think both of you didn't really get to what I did that was especially clear in my questions. Is that it's not so much to get your record as a police officer, small businessman, city council, all those things are, and that's fine, we can talk about that. But in terms of running the campaign, how you're going to run the campaign, how you're going to beat Chad Mays, who has a lot more money than either of you ever hoped to have, how is that going to happen? We'll start with Andrew first, and then with Gary.
So, do you all remember the Hangman Hillary tweet that went out? So, that's my campaign manager, first off. Somebody very effective out there. Jason Cable Rowe, campaign consultant. Young Republicans, our boots are on the ground. Our technology is top of the line. I am supported by small business and supporters in the district. In the fourth quarter of last year, I did outraise Chad Mays by 53%. I'm nearing 200,000 right now. My support is growing. My competitor raised around 20,000 and is in debt more than what he raised. And of course, lending himself money, but that's a different issue. My success of being able to navigate Democrats, balancing budgets, and making change is the difference of why I can make change up in Sacramento. My belief in Trump, just like today, this pullback, advising my clients to move forward. Just like the night of the election, positioning my clients' portfolios to take advantage of the market swing the next day. I'm a believer of where we're at. I'm a believer that the force is awakening right now. We have the professional attitude. We've won elections. We have the right team in place. This is a we thing. Just like this waking up to remove Chad from leadership. This is a we thing right now to beat Chad and remove him. And once we're up there, we're going to take advantage to turn things around through policy, through procedures. Maybe we break away. Maybe there's the new California. Maybe that's on the table. Maybe something's on the table of not full-time politicians up in Sacramento. But what I do know is the polls right now is favoring my history of reform and fixing things. And if there's a chance to fix California, I want you to vote for me, because I got to tell you, right now I believe we can make California golden again, and I want you to join me.
First thing I do, I put forward legislation for tax cuts. We're going to have the Republican governor. Why do tax cuts work? We know why that works. Because we put money back into business, we put money back into the economy, it's going to work. I live in evidence. In 1978, I had a camera crew run up to me and put the microphone in my face as a young police officer and said, "What are you going to do When you lose your job because of Proposition 13, you realize 54% of the income is going to be cut to the cities and the counties. They're not going to be able to do public service, and you're going to be out of a job. I continue to walk away. What happened? The facts are that there was a slight dip, and then the economy responded and took off again because tax cuts work. We put it back in the economy. We will do that. Another evidence of it is in the election when Trump was getting elected. My wife knew. By the way, there's my wife Amy. She's Edward Jones' advisor right there. Round of applause for her for talking around with us. She knew Trump was going to win. I couldn't believe that she, I can't say her name, might win. So I would just read in my room. She came in about 10:30. She goes, you know what? I'm flipping through the channels, and on one of those liberal stations, there's that guy with the white hair. He's got a tear in his eye. He's starting to go, oh my gosh, Trump might win. The projections are coming into Trump. So we went and started watching all the liberal stations, and I enjoyed it. Almost as much fun as watching Nancy Pelosi at the State of the Union address. We could see that it was going to change. Then what did the media start saying? The media started telling us, oh no, now Trump will win, and we're projecting the stock market's going to crash. It's going to crash. Well, my wife said, I got to get up early in the morning. We set the alarm. She gets up. The alarm goes off. She looks at it, and I go, you going in? She goes, no. Trump won, and the economy is back on fire. And it has been on fire. We've had a little bit of an adjustment here the last couple of weeks because of Republican principles, because we know that Trump's principles, our principles, will work. And that's what I propose.
Question for both candidates. On the flip side, with a possible Democrat supermajority, how will you block bad legislation? Who's that person here? Go ahead and go. There's a question for both candidates.
With the I'm going to believe we don't have the supermajority. I am again believing with what Travis Allen said, what everybody in here says, because we're all going to go out and talk. You're all activists, and you're going to go out there and you're going to spread the word that we need to change how things are. I am absolutely convinced that this revolution happens. We're going to get back at least the supermajority. We're going to get that back. And then we are now going to have to get out of our offices in Sacramento. As a state assemblyman, we can't stay in that office because we can't block the majority votes. We can't do much except go out and start to talk to other people. We go places where Republicans don't normally go. And we talk to other people and tell them, our principles are correct. Your family values are like our family values. We do not hate you. We are not racist. We want you all to be successful. We don't want to give a handout. We want to give a hand up. You work hard, you will be successful in California. We get that message out. We all work together to get that message out, and we're going to turn this, and we're not going to have these kind of worries about not having a majority, because we'll get it back. I believe it. Can I hear you?
This race is so critical in turning this back and fighting against their supermajority. The reason being is we have so many squishy Republicans, right? Whether it's Chad Mays or Stein North or Rocky Chavez, they're squishy. And people like us and you can't count on what a Republican stands for. We can't count on those conservative values. The people that we're trying to get to come over to us, they can't believe in us or our message because Republicans constantly move depending on what they get out of it, or what they're pressured into. This race will send a message to all the Republicans up in Sacramento that it's not okay to trade us. It's not okay to betray us and to act like you're a Republican, treat us like we're stupid, and pass an egregious tax like cap and trade on our backs, and then wave a flag and say, oh, I'm a Republican leader. This message is vital, that all the other Republicans up in Sacramento know it's not okay, and they quit doing that. As soon as they quit doing that and we can firm up, we have a chance. I have a history of out-navigating Democrats. I did it in LA with the fueling program at Metrolink to shave off $8 million a year off $100 million spending. I did it in 2012 as mayor. Through the mayor's conference, MAP 21 was going through, it was the transportation bill. I pushed back environmental reform through a Democratic U.S. mayor's conference and through a Democratic Congress, and Obama signed it to repeal the duplicity between NEPA and CEQA, the dual environment on California, and we succeeded. There's always a way, policy procedures, and a way to move and do this. By the way, as chairman of Metrolink, I've been working with Trump's infrastructure team right now. He is working on the ports of LA and Long Beach right now in our rail corridors to improve his exports and imports coming in and out of California, create jobs with Hispanics and trades, and pull them over just like he did with African Americans. The change is coming, folks.
Questions for both candidates. Since you're up, I'll ask you first, Andrew. Whether or not you're working with a Democrat supermajority, you're going to be working with a Democrat majority. What issues can you work with the Democrats on?
Gas tax. Can you believe it, gas tax? The unions right now are broken because of gas tax and cap and trade, where that money is going. They pulled it from them to go to, as I talked about before, illegal aliens and the crazy train. Brown is just laser focused on this train and making this happen, that he doesn't care how he's reduced all of them. And this gas tax is going to pay for that also. Guess what? All of their organizations that they work for, all those municipalities, guess what? Their fueling costs just are going to go up 33%, which means that money's not going to them. And this is empty promises. Also, we just had Prop 13 come up where they were going to make rent control over everything. I'm sure some of you saw that and heard that. What happened? People like you and me crashed Sacramento, crashed the committee, crashed the Capitol, and said this is not okay. And all of a sudden it's amazing that the Democrats folded once the people showed up. This is why your activism and us being activists is so important, that we wake up and go do this together. What Travis Allen is doing with people coming out and supporting him, that's us, people like you and me. And when we ask you to come to Sacramento and crash and provide support and put pressure on the Democrats and all these organizations, you're going to need to do that. This is a we thing to turn around California. It's not one lonely assemblyman or a governor candidate. It's going to be all of us together. We're family. We can do this. This is an awakening that's happening. You see the movement. Now is the time. You have to believe that we can make California golden again. The pendulum has swung far enough, and it's time that it swings our way, and it's beginning to. You saw that with the Senate majority with Trump, and it's going to start with what we're going to do with Chad Mays. What are we going to do with him? That's right.
I'm not sure that when I get to Sacramento, that we can work with Democrats who've got the majority. When you think about it, they don't need us. So are they going to offer Republicans a deal? When you look at it, when they hold the supermajority and they had this bipartisan cap and trade, it was another smoke and mirrors. We got screwed on the deal. I don't see how we can work. And I'm not going to be wanting to work with Democrats because they're not going to give us legislation that is favorable. If we don't have the majority, or we're not close enough to get something of a bipartisan, then we need to get out of the office, and we need to then go, and for some reason, which I'm not going to believe it, but if we don't, we're going to have to collect signatures again and put stuff on the ballot to get around the Democrats, if that comes to it, because they're not going to give us a deal that we can work with. It's going to be to their advantage. Why would they? Now, if we get close and we're almost at a majority, then maybe you can have some partisanship where you can have some give and take, but I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing that the Democrats do in California have give and take. I'm preferring to say, okay, let's go up, put it on the ballot, we'll go out and register, we're going to get this on the ballot for repeal of the gas tax. We'll get those signatures. We'll have to go and do those kinds of things if we don't get them, if we don't win in 2018, but I know we will. I know we are, but the fallback is we'll go around them because we're not going to get any good deals from Democrats.
All right, we're going to provide the audience questions. Daniel, you're up first.
I have a question for both of you gentlemen. The question is very simple. What can be done to reduce the number of homeless and the incessant begging?
In the city of Palm Springs, as a police chief, we've had this problem. It's still going on, but we have to back programs that do not enable, that do not support the lifestyle. We have to support, in the Coachella Valley, in Coachella, they have Martha's Village. You go in there as a homeless person, but you have to work their program to participate in that. What we also did is we would go down and find that merchants had their own special homeless person. They would pay their own special homeless person to do their windows. They would help and pay them under the table kind of thing. So we went out and said, look, if you want to help these guys, give it to Martha's Village. If you don't donate, don't give them money, have them go down and get help, things that are not enabling their behavior. We worked with the health department because there's a lot of homeless that are mentally ill. And if you can get them medically compliant, many of them can actually do some work. And so we had programs where we would work with the mentally ill. If we can get the money from the state that they're going to put on that bullet train to nowhere that nobody's going to ride, we can shift some of that money back to mental health and help a lot of those homeless people to become better and not do enabling programs. That's how we do it.
I don't know about all you, but the last 3 years, I've seen a tremendous increase in homelessness and poverty in California. Right? This is directly because of Sacramento and Governor Brown and all his agendas and reductions in poverty levels and enabling the free handouts to people. Half these people get state money, they can go buy their drugs, their alcohol. There's no drug test, there's no responsibility at all by these people. They vote Democrat. It's all part of the same issue that we've seen. This is a Sacramento issue with funding. You talk about poverty levels with people, the real people that are. There are most families, husband and wife both have to work. They can barely raise one child, let alone two, or afford to do that. And if they do, they're both working, they're not home, they have to rely on the school to raise their kid, right? This is part of the problem. This whole democratic responsibility of poverty, unaffordability, and breaking the backs of California. People are waking up to it right now. It's got to be fixed at the California level. As a veteran, there used to be a great CalVet program in California. We used to treat veterans like you were gold. Now you're treated like you're crud. You're the lowest thing, there's no benefits, there's hardly anything out there. Mental health departments closed down, same thing. You know, over and over again, this is a Sacramento issue. We need to fix the budget, we need to fix where the revenues are going, and I guarantee you, all these homeless camps you see everywhere, all of a sudden, if we stop giving these drug addicts and people free money, it's going to go away. I'm focused on that, and this is a problem we've got to fix together. One of my concerns too, we're talking about here, we're seeing eye to eye, talking about police chief and everything else. I've taken the tax pledge, right? I haven't passed a tax in my city, and we're ranked in the top 9% of cities across California as fiscally conservative. Top 9. This gentleman signed the tax pledge, then as a school board member, passed a school bond and signed it.
You did twice.
Not me.
Gary? It's your chance to answer the question.
I already answered the question. I responded as a bond thing.
Well, 30 seconds.
30 seconds, okay. Yes, I put a bond to the voters, and it has to pass by 55% so we could build schools into Palm Springs Unified School District. It passed by 66%. I did not go out publicly and put my name in support of it. We had one school board member and some others who put a ballot support. There was no opposition. In your tax issue, there was opposition, and you have said you didn't publicly support it, but you did. I did not publicly support that bond, but I did put it out to the voters, which passed 66%.
Time. And 30 seconds to Andrew if you want to continue the discussion.
Well, it's interesting because after he signed this bond measure, he resigned from the only thing he was elected to after running for 4 things. And shortly then in his next race, guess who endorsed him and cut him big checks? The California Teachers Association. Any connections there? I think not. Are you going to deny that too?
I'm not denying that too. How much did you take with SIU? Oh, gosh, you might have forgot about that one. All right. Jeez. All right, so the California Teachers Association, what I did with them is I believe in choice. I believe it's in choice. So when I took any money from the Teachers Association, it was with them knowing that I was choice because they can't have a monopoly. I believe the public schools can do well if they're challenged. They're not challenged. I supported vouchers. I support the charter schools, and I support that we don't have a monopoly. So that's the CTA thing. I guess you want to respond to your SEIU?
And last 30 seconds, and we are moving on to other things.
So it's interesting, in 2012, we were dealing with dire straits in my city that I talked about. Through that, I pushed pension reform on SEIU. I looked him in the eye and said, look, I'm all for our staff, I appreciate what we're doing. We're gonna have to lay off half of you. 50% of you we're gonna have to lay off. And if you don't agree to pension reform, it's going to be worse than that. You need to pay 8% of your way. You need to increase the retirement age. You have to believe me, this is what we need for the city. Our union members voted over their union leadership to do that. Get that in your head. Our members voted over their union leaders to do that. They came to me after that and said, Andrew, you know what? We believe that what you say is transparent and honest, and you will fight for our people, for the true jobs that they are. We're going to cut you a check for $1,000 because as a Republican, we believe your message. You're not a squishy one.
Right. Next audience question.
Already, hi there. I can hold it, I swear I won't drop it. Okay.
Rule of emceeing is never let go of the microphone.
Weird as a professional public speaker to have somebody else hold your mic, but it's okay. As an elected official, I think it's very important to appreciate and understand the volunteers and the grassroots. And so first and foremost, I'd like to thank everybody tonight for coming out. You guys are how we get elected. Thank you for all your time and efforts. And in that same vein, I would like to ask both candidates, how many unsuccessful campaigns have you run, and how much other people's money have you squandered in those campaigns?
I know where this is going already. You see, I've had 3 successful campaigns every time I ran. People stand for my beliefs and me following through what I said, just like SIU. People know they're going to understand and believe what I say. As a veteran, I fought for this country, I fought for this nation, I fought for your freedom, just like the veterans before me. I value this at the highest level. I took that oath of trust in backing of this nation, and I continue to do it as a public servant in City Council. The money I've raised, I take very seriously with people, and I haven't squandered it. There was an opportunity to run for supervisor in my district, and I was running, and there was a Republican that wanted getting support from the party over me. I had money, I stepped back, it wasn't about ego, I got behind him with support and funding to help him. It's not about each one of us, it's about the success of where we go. I'm 3 for 3 on success. Guess what? This is going to be number 4 when we do what with Chad Mays? That's right.
I haven't squandered any money. I'm a public servant. I try to serve. It's in my DNA. When I retired, I guess I could just go home and not turn on the news and maybe go play golf, but that's not who I am. I want to try to serve, and I want to try to make a difference. I ran in some extremely difficult races, and I have made valiant efforts to try to continue to serve, and I wasn't elected. I wasn't going to run this time around. Senator Stone said you came really close to Mays 4 years ago. Where I really lost is Yucaipa and Yucca Valley. I lost in those areas. And he believes in me. I asked my wife about it. I asked the women down in East Valley Republican women, and all of them are supporting, saying, yes, you've got to do something. You're the guy that can take Chad Mays out. That's why I got back in this race, and I will take him out. I am gone up to Yucca Valley, And before, where they treated me like I had leprosy, I am now invited in. We had a meet and greet where we had 50 people. On Saturday, we're going to be out in front of the gun store, bear arms, from 11 to 2, because I have people wanting to do a barbecue. We're going to have a fun time, and we're going to get Yucca Valley. We're going to win Yucca Valley. We're going to win Yucaipa, and we're going to win the 42nd Assembly. Thank you.
Laurie.
Hi, my question is primarily for Mr. Kotyuk. You may have made reference, maybe alluded to it or answered it partially, but I was going through your flyer and I noticed you have a background or leadership role with the Regional Rail Authority, Metrolink, the Riverside County Transportation, you being the Director of Riverside County Transportation Commission. My question is, what is your position on sustainability and toll roads?
Yeah, why should we pay for something twice, right? Why should we pay for a highway and then pay for toll roads on top of that? It doesn't make any sense. It's double taxation, folks. Don't approve of that. So I hope that answers that question on this point. My counterpart here didn't answer the other question. He ran 3 times, lost 3 times. First one was Bonnie Garcia, Republican Assembly seat in 2008. The party solely stood behind him, gave him $1.5 million. Think about that, $1.5 million to win that seat and keep that Republican. And he lost it to Manny Perez. Turned it Democrat in 2008. There's a theme here going on. In 2014, there's other cap and traders, right? Rocky Chavez. Guess who also donated to his campaign in 2014? A cap and trader, Rocky Chavez. Do you see an underlying theme here? I think not, but no on toll roads.
I guess I can respond to that.
Yeah, the question's for you as well. What do you think about sustainability and toll roads?
No, I don't support the toll roads. I think that it's double taxation. I don't support any of the things some of the things that he wants to do as far as regionalizing. He wants to regionalize utilities. He wants to do things that kind of scare me along that Agenda 21 thing. He wants to do more global stuff. He wants to do more, we want more big government. I'm about less government. I don't want the government coming in and running my utilities. I don't want them. They're doing a great job with DMV. Let's have them take over your utilities. I resisted something like that happened in Palm Springs, just on an animal control center. They wanted to regionalize the animal control. We didn't do that. We opted out. Our community opted out of that because we didn't want to be caught up in that. And it was really good because then we could control our costs. We couldn't control our costs when it went regional. We couldn't control when they were putting adoptable animals down. We couldn't control any of that. So we, in my community, loves their animals. They raised money and they built their own shelter so they could keep it out of the hands of regionalization. I'm about less government. I'm about pushing the money. Not California. He said earlier, California's going to solve the problem. No. We solve it at the local level. The homeless is going to not be solved by California. It's going to be solved by the city councils, the county supervisors, people closest to the problem. We just got to give the money back to them so they can do that. But instead, it stays up there in Sacramento, and then they dictate how the money's going to be spent. I oppose that. I oppose this regionalization stuff. It needs to come back to the people. It needs to come back to a local level, and that's what I'm about. Thank you.
This is a very direct question for Gary Jeandron. Are you affiliated with the Clinton Foundation?
No, I am not. The only stretch I can think that he's trying to make is that I was working, this is only like I think, I was at Cal State San Bernardino. I worked for Cal State San Bernardino in Palm Desert. I was working on a health collaborative. They apply for a grant with the Clinton Foundation. It doesn't come to me, it goes to the university. They apply for it, they want it, and he's going to try to make, this is desperation. I am so disappointed in the immediate attacks. I was not going to be doing this. And right off the bat, he attacks. That's desperation. That is so disappointing. We need to be talking about Chad Mays. Chad Mays is the guy we need to go after. We need to be tearing down Chad Mays because that guy is bad for the party. This guy, Chad Mays, is going to single-handedly hurt our party with this move to the left. He gets up there and says, oh my gosh, we are losing voters because of decline to states because their values are changing. We know, Melissa Melinda said it when she took him on in that debate, said, oh no, that's not why we use them. We don't lose voters because their values change. We're losing voters because our politicians like you, Chad, your values change. We need to stay with our values. Our principles work. We will win. Our principles work, and I'm going to stop.
You wish to address the subject?
So you can't erase what's on the internet, right? You can't erase that Rocky Chavez donated to your campaign. You can't erase that you signed the Howard Jarvis taxpayer pledge, swearing that you won't raise taxes, and then you pass a school bond and expect people to believe you or your message, right? You can't run for a campaign and put office, lose 3 times, and be in this position against Chad Mays, not raising money, not having an effective campaign in the history of this, and think that people are going to believe where you stand and what you're capable of, and that you're actually going to win the seat. It looks to me more like a block or position along with Chad Mays is what it looks like to me on this side. So you can't erase what's on the internet. Clinton Foundation, it's on the internet. How do you erase those sort of things? How do you erase union money come to you? You can't. You can't, folks. It is what it is. It's out on the internet and it's proven out there. What we do have to do is have one candidate go out against Chad Mays. I've spent this whole campaign for the past 9 months saying nothing bad against Gary. Meanwhile, he's put out against Greg, everybody on an email list has been slandering me and slamming me for the past 9 months. Why today is important is because we're in the filing period through March 9th, and if we have 2 Republican candidates going up against Chad, Chad's going to get a pass. Now, I've got the endorsements, I've got the dollars, we have an effective campaign, I've got the history behind me of success. I've called Gary for the past 14 days to meet with me. 14 days. Text, call, and he may deny that, I don't know. I have my phone records, just like Clinton Foundation. I've called him for the past 14 days, just like I offered my hand today on a gentleman's handshake to make a gentleman's agreement of 1 Republican moving forward, and he refuses. He refuses to meet with me and talk about us working together as 1 Republican to beat Chad Mays. So ask yourself, why?
You want to...
Stop. We are past time in part because of my technical difficulties and in part because of Travis Allen. So we're going to move on to closing statements. And we still have, because Sean Quinn still has a presentation for us. Okay. So we're going to move on. Closing statements. You have the microphone. 3 minutes.
This is about Chad Mays. That's who we're after. And I'm not going to go back and do any more of this with him. It's desperation. I'm extremely disappointed that he had to go here. I've got the right ideas. My campaign is healthy. It's exactly where we want it to be. I have a friend, he's a former assemblyman in Orange County. And what he told me is you stay in your lane, just like an Olympic swimmer, and you stay on your goal. And when you look to the sides, what the other guy's doing, you're going to get out of your rhythm, and you're going to lose. I am in the lane. Every goal that we wanted, our internal goals, we're achieving. Our campaign has got to be different because we're up against $500,000 and lots of independent expenditures. If we run a traditional campaign, we're not going to win. We're not. We have it. We are on goal. We're on task. We have support in the 42nd Assembly District. We're known in the 42nd Assembly District. I know that I'm winning this and we're going to beat Chad because 85% of Republicans leave him in our polling that we did early on. there's enough Republicans, even between the two of us, that can still get in front of Chad Mays. I know that. I'm in my lane. Our campaign's good. We're doing exactly what we want to accomplish, and we're going to go as the Olympic swimmer, and we're going to win. We're going to hit that line. Thank you. Thank you.
Slow lane, fast lane. You have to ask yourself, if we're two Republicans and we're not wanting to talk about one person moving forward, what's it really about? It's not really about removing Chad Mays, is it? Right? But again, when you look at somebody and you look at the history that can't be erased of losing 3 times, but then being pushed by the teachers union after pushing the teachers bond, being endorsed and paid money by Rocky Chavez, a cap and traitor, being a part of the Clinton Foundation and position, not raising money, this smells like a Chad plant to me. A spoiler that deliberately won't get out of the way, deliberately won't work with another Republican to have one Republican to beat Chad Mays, won't accept a handshake and gentleman's bet to move forward. So what is it? Right? We have to face that. This is important. It already ruined 2-party endorsements handed to Chad because of the split of votes of the minority, not allowing 2/3 even though I had the majority there in both parties. Activists like this have to stand up. Activists like us, like Trump and Travis Allen, have to make a vote and to stand. This is what's going to win it. Your votes, your push, your involvement in your community. We can take back California. We've heard this message. I've been able to fix every agency I've been on. I've been able to push agendas of environmental and push back environmental regulation. We can do this together. This isn't an I thing, this is a we thing. I've got a great team. We can work with other assembly members to win their seat back and push back and build that base again in California. You see, folks, if we don't have hope, we might as well move, right, out of state. All we've been doing is playing defense for several election cycles. It's time to play offense, folks. We've got to stand up. When you see young people like the University of Riverside standing up and pushing forward, they've got our back. That's the next generation. We can stand forward. We can push forward. We can make change. People are hurting right now, and California is broken, and people know it. The trades know it. It's fractured. And this crazy train, when Brown's out and he's down, we have to realize that that's going to be an anchor around all those Democrats' neck when it doesn't get built and all this money, billions of dollars, is being poured into it and hasn't gone anywhere. So I ask you, find my Facebook page, find Kotyuk for assembly.org. You can donate, you can join our team, you can join our rallies, our tea party, coffee, meet and greets are on the table. We can make California great again by doing what to Chad Mays? That's right. Thank you all.
Thank you, please. All right, in the before straw poll, we have Chad Mays 0. Gary Jeandron had 31.2%. Andrew Kotyuk had 27%. And the undecideds were 46%. So does that add up right? No. Did I make a mistake? I made a mistake in there somewhere. Yes, it is too high.
No, that's right.
Anyway, let's see if groucho marks. These are my numbers. These are my numbers. If you don't like them, I have others. I'll redo my math afterwards. In the after poll, hopefully these numbers are right. They add up here. They seem to add up. Chad Mays actually, he got a vote here. Okay, so he got 1.8% of the outgoing. I don't know who that was. Maybe it was our guy in the red hat. Gary Jeandron got 41.5%. Andrew Kotyuk got 49%. And the undecideds were down to 7.5%. So, those are the final results, and it was both close, and both candidates presented themselves well. Maybe a little bit too
Too well.
things, but we appreciate them coming out. We appreciate all of you coming out, and we'll be considering who we in the Redlands Tea Party Patriots will support, because it really is important that one of these guys comes out ahead of Chad Mays. The Democrat's going to get one of the slots for November. So you got 3 Republicans, Chad Mays, Jeandron and Andrew Kotyuk, vying for the other spot. And we really want one of these 2 guys to get that other spot, because, as I said before, if Chad Mays gets it, everyone who thinks like him in Sacramento is going to go, yes, we got home free, we can do whatever we want, and we'll get away with it. So, thanks for coming out. If you have not signed up for our email list, please do so. And if you'd like to help out with our market night, we'd love to have you out there. We'll have a great time with that. And we'll see you back here on April 5th with Judge Bailey, who's running for Attorney General of California. Hopefully we'll repeal and replace what's his name? Sarah? We'll repeal and replace him. Thanks all for coming out.